So today we're going to continue on our news site project. And again, we've been doing news site 1, 2, 3 up to this point. When we go to news site 4, we have to complete news site 3 in order to get to 4. You need to complete 4 in order to get to 5, and then 5 in order to get to 6. So what I've got here is just a React component in its natural state. This is exactly what I get when I run create React app. This is the code that comes out. Our code could also have a constructor. Constructor probably takes in some properties. I'm going to super the properties. And my constructor for this particular app component may also have some state. This.state equals something over here. I'm going to say articles. You can set it equal to nothing for right now. JavaScript React. So I'm just going to have James walk me through from top to bottom every single line of this particular React code.
All right. Importing React, importing a logo, importing from another component.
What does import mean?
You're taking in existing code, either from a library or a new component.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly. I'm bringing code from one place into another place. Cool.
Setting a class app. Building a constructor, it takes properties, and then still don't know what super is.
Okay.
Setting a state for articles, which is to be determined.
Cool. What are props?
Properties.
Okay. What is state?
State is like the current value of a property.
Try again.
Current, like if it's articles in there, it's equal to something.
But like, what is? I know the value of state is line 9, but like, what is state as a concept?
It is status of something.
Fair. Ed, what is state?
The context of the object.
No. John, what's state?
Can I use the word state to describe state?
I would prefer not to, but
it's
sure.
It's like, as the name implies, it's like the state of all, like state is not, you could say that there's like a variable and that state is the state of the variable, but like state itself is an actual object that contains a bunch of things that you are going to set their state, or you're going to be updating their state as you go along through the program. Some other word I would use to describe it, I guess, is just like the board, like the status of the board, if you like to think of it that way.
Sure.
It's like, what state are these? What state is everything in?
Cool. I like the word status. I've never used that, but I'm going to steal it. So state is it's just a JavaScript object that's available inside your component. That's all it is, and it contains the status of your component at this particular point in time. Right now, the status of your app component has articles equal to nothing, and then you're going to overwrite that. What does render do, James? We're going to come back to you.
Render is essentially what will show up on the views page.
Mm-hmm.
So it's returning instead of divs, an image from source, which is a logo.
Mm-hmm.
In the divs, there's values associated with each of them. Class name equals app is the first div. It's actually displaying the text under the paragraph tags to get started, edit. It's drawing. It's actually, let's see. Yeah.
Yeah, close enough. Yeah, it's render. Basically, just returns HTML to the screen, and specifically what the HTML is this thing. I didn't expect you to go into so much detail, but that's fine. It just render. So every single component has 2 built-in functions. One is a constructor, which is the same thing as Ruby's initialize, and then render, which Ruby doesn't have an equivalent to. This is just what shows up on the page. Props are properties that you pass in. So it's like if you're creating a new person object, you'd be passing properties of first name, last name, height, and weight. And then we have state, which is just a more or less a JavaScript object Ruby hash that's available within this app component with the status of everything that's going on right now. So this is a React component just in its natural state. Like there's nothing special about it. It's just like this. We've seen this component did mount. Paste. We've seen this component did mount function, and this is another one of these protected functions that are available to our React components. Now think of a React component, its life cycle. Like last week I loaded up Instagram.com and I've loaded up, let's go with somebody else. Is there anybody on Instagram that you follow? Oprah, I don't know. I don't know if Oprah has her own Instagram. Okay, Oprah does have her own Instagram. So Instagram, again, owned by Facebook. Facebook created React. Instagram's written inside of React. Components are loaded onto the page at different times. So there are different components on this page. When we think about components, we just think about components as sections. So we have a section up here of the web page that's probably just the header. We have a section over here, which is like the information area. And then we have sections for just the photos. Each one of these individual photos is an individual component, and it's loaded onto the page at different times. So right now, when I scroll all the way down to the bottom, there are extra components being loaded onto the page. And for a split second, right over here, and I'll do it again just so you can see, there are a quick gray box. There's a quick gray box, and then a picture is loaded on top of it. So what's happening is you have a component that's loaded, but the stuff, the picture is not loaded on top of it quite yet. So again, just going down really fast, look for the quick gray. The component has a specific state at that particular point, and then it's going to fully load in. So we have this giant wheel of what's called component lifecycle methods. These lifecycle methods essentially allow you to hook into your component at different points in time. So at the top, you have the will mount. This is more or less the birth of your component. So when your component will mount onto your DOM, onto the screen, you're able to do stuff. So this is very similar to a Rails before action. Like before anything happens, I'm going to do something. So before the component will mount. When it mounts, I will do something. And then it goes all the way around, around, and around, and then at the end of its life, it will unmount. At a certain point, your component is going to no longer be alive. You're going to disconnect your component from your computer, from the screen, from the DOM, and at that point, you can hook in at that point as well. So you can think of these as similar to Rails controller actions. So you have before action, there's after act. So before action, after action, before save, after save. But most of the time, according to some professional React developers that I've met, you're only using a few of these component lifecycle methods. You're going to use component did mount, and then you're going to use component will receive props. Those are most of the two that you're going to use. So let's jump into news site number 4 for today. So news site 4. So component did mount, that lifecycle method, is like once the component did mount onto the screen, I'm going to execute some sort of code. It's most commonly used when you call out to different APIs. So I load it onto the screen and then I make a call. So just to make sure that something shows up and then I make a call out to something else. So let's take a look at news site number 4. We're trying to build out 2 things. The first one, a section page. It's just so we can click on the different sections up top and filter based off of those sections. And we're going to create a search bar where every single time that we type in a letter, it's going to update the number of articles that are showing up. So it just matches the ones with, if I type in FALL, just the articles with FALL in the top. It's a little bit easier today to deal with things. We're just going to copy the entire source directory from news site 3 into news site 4. So I've cloned it down. Got news site 4 over here, completed news site 3. I'm just going to copy this entire folder, paste it in here. From there, I'm going to run npm install. npm install is the same thing as bundle install. And then npm start. So npm install is the same thing as bundle install. I'm reaching out to npm saying I want to grab all the code and install it in my particular project. After that, I'm going to do npm start, which is the same thing as bundle exec Rails server. As we're waiting for this, are there things that people are thinking of for their final project? Any ideas that you have? Keep in mind, you will be building this for 2 weeks. So it should be something that you enjoy. James, you got any good ideas?
I'll have to check my list. I made a list for the last set of projects.
Nice.
Do you want to drive a motorcycle?
Used to.
You know, you're not supposed to put like ethanol gas in them.
Yeah.
Because it'll totally jack them up. In some places, they only have ethanol gas. Maybe it'd be cool to like build something that will take in some sort of data, either user provided or existing, show you where you can get gasoline that doesn't have ethanol. Last time I put it in my bike on accident, it was just like shaking and backfiring and acting crazy. There's some stuff out there like websites, but you have to go and sit and look through every single entry, click on the cities and everything. It's not actually a map. But I don't know. Maybe they do have one with the map already.
All right, after waiting for a good 3 minutes, we are finally installed and it's up here now. So this is our completed news site number 3. Now let's just make sure we got everything on here. So we've got this home page with a full list of every article that we've got here. Maybe at one point today we'll change this timestamp from looking like this to actually something that we can read. When I click on an individual article, it takes me to a specific article page with, you know, the title, when it was written, the image, et cetera, et cetera. Right now, we're missing a few things though. If you look at the very top here, when I click on any of these words, it doesn't take me to a specific section. So right now, if I just click on opinion, it's not taking me to an opinion section. It's just saying that, hey, you clicked on opinion. I'm console logging it out over here. Same thing with national, business, and world. So that's the first thing that we want to work on today. We want to take these particular, when we click on this, I want to be taken to a new page, like a /sections/opinion/sections/world, national, and business. And I want to see just the list of articles for that particular subcategory. So in order to accomplish this, we need to do a few things. First things first, we're going to enter inside of app.js. Remember, this is the main entry point into our app. We have routes for every single individual article and the home page, but we don't have a page for, we don't have a route for all the specific sections. So I'm just going to grab this right here, make one more route. It's going to be /sections/section ID. And the component that's going to handle that is going to be called section page. Now, because I'm using section page as a component, I have to import it up here. Section page from pages section page.js. Again, what I've done, I've created a route it's going to take me to /sections/section ID, and the component that's handling that is going to be the section page. I'm importing it up here on line number 9. Now, if I go to /pages, there is no section page, so I got to create that next. Create a quick new file called section page.js. And section page.js, I'm expecting that when I click on each individual one of these things, it's going to load up a list of articles. And which one of my components has a list of articles inside of it? Like just a list of articles. Which component has all of that? So again, go ahead.
News site?
What's that?
News site?
News site is the entire thing. Like which individual component handles of this list of articles. So when I click on, right now it says homepage and it gives me all of them, right? I want to click on opinion, world, national, and business, and then get just those articles specific to opinion, world, national, and business. So which component handles this page?
Some sort of index or something.
What's that?
Some sort of index. I don't know what it's called though.
Well, let's take a look. So we start here at /. Okay. So we first go inside of app.js, the / here. Which component handles the /?
Component homepage.
Homepage. So let's jump inside of homepage. So we've got homepage over here, and it does list out an entire list of articles. That's pretty cool. Because of that, I know that I'm going to need more or less the same code inside of section page, because I want a list of articles specific to that particular section. Right now, I'm just making all the articles. I'm just going to grab this whole thing and just paste it inside of here. All right, there's a few things I'm going to need, a few things that I may not need. So I probably need React. I probably need the article list because I am rendering out a list of articles. I probably also need to make a request out to the articles API. So right off the bat, we need to change the name from homepage to section page. Oops. We've got a constructor, takes in some props. We know that we need to set the state right at the beginning to no articles. Once the component mounts onto the screen, we need to fetch articles, probably something similar. Looks like we used fetch articles, but we also have the ability to fetch articles by section. So I'm just going to grab this in its place. So articles API, fetch articles by section, and then I need to actually grab that particular section. And again, when we go to, when I click on, opinion, world, national, and business, it's going to take me to a particular URL, and I need to grab that section. So I'm just going to say section equal similar to the article page.
I'm going to go ahead and cancel. I have an appointment for Monday. I'm going to go ahead.
I'm going to grab the section ID from the URL. So let section equal this.props.match.proms.section ID. Pass in the section over here. And then set the state to articles to just this. If this works, I'll be surprised, but we'll find out. So as of right now, I've got my home page. If I go to /section/opinion, hopefully I will, oh, there it is. I get a smaller subset of articles. Before I got every single article, but right now, what's happening is whenever I visit /sections/opinion, which we'll start with app.js, I visit /sections/opinion. Opinion is saved as section ID. And then the section page component is the one that's handling all of that code. So we jump inside of there. We have a constructor with state equaling no articles. Once the component mounts onto the screen, we grab the section based off of the URL. We make an API request. and then we return it out just like this. And section page is almost identical to home page. Any questions on that? Okay. We almost finished it. The issue right now is that I have to actually type in /section/opinion. I can't click on it and do anything with it right now. In fact, it's just console logging a whole bunch of stuff. So I need to change the navigation so that instead of just printing out inside the console, is actually going to take me to a link. So which one of my components handles the navigation? So instead of @nav, right now you can kind of see I'm creating specific nav items. And when I click on it, it's saying just handle nav click. And I believe, where is @nav? So @nav is a component being called right over here. I think we don't need to do this anymore. Inside of @nav, I'm going to get rid of this entire section right here, and this is directly straight from the curriculum.
Yes, we're going to look at YouTube.
I'm going to create a constant called nav items. So nav items, I'm going to take every single individual nav item, map over them, and then create a whole bunch of links. So there's a few things that I need to import here. So it looks like nav item is found, no, it's actually nowhere to be found over here. We have a link, a bunch of stuff is missing. What are some of the things that I need to import into this particular component to make it run? Any ideas?
Label information.
Not quite. So there are things that I'm running inside of here. There are things I'm running inside of here that are not defined. How do I, I guess there are a few things I need to import. How do I import those things? And what do I need to import?
You need to import the things that it says are not defined from wherever their pages.
So yeah, if you just take a look right here, it says nav item is defined but never used, right over here. Wait, no, it says nav item on line 2. It looks like I'm not using nav item anymore, so I can just get rid of that. That's one thing. This will automatically refresh down over here. Yep, it says sections is not defined. And I think sections and nav items are interchangeable here because, again, we're grabbing all of those particular sections from this file. So I think we can change nav items to sections. And I will just change all of these nav items to section. And since I will just do sections. And yep, I think that should be fine. All right, and we still have a few broken things. All right, it says nav items is assigned a value but never used. I believe I can get rid of these two things. What else is broken? Let's see. Link is not defined.
You need to import.
Okay.
Wherever, I think it's in React.
I believe you're right. So import React, component library, and also link. No, link is from React Router DOM. So import link from React Router DOM. Let's see if this works now. I'm going to refresh this page just to make sure everything is running. I got my main home page with a whole list of articles. I click on this, I can go to an individual article. When I click on this, it takes me to the section for opinion. It's taking me to world, national, and business, but it's still the same 5 things. Anybody know what could be wrong here? Because it works the first time, right? So the first time I load a section page, I go to /national. It gives me all the articles that are related to the national section. But when I click on opinion, it stays the same. When I click on world and business, they all remain the same. How do I update it over and over?
Component did update.
Yep. So right now, if you take a look inside of the section page, it's saying once the component mounts onto the screen one time, that's it. I never have to update it again. But when I did component did update, meaning that anytime the component updates itself or there's some sort of change to it, I'm going to run this particular code instead of just running it once with component did mount. Because once it mounts onto the screen, then I don't do anything else. Let's try it. We're going to go to the home page right over here, click on opinion, world, national, and business. So I'm able to update over and over at each individual time. World, national, business. All right, the last little bit that we're going to do today is the ability to search for articles on our homepage. So when we jump onto our homepage, I want to create a small little search box that will allow me to make API calls over and over again to just look up based off of a title. And it's fairly, I mean, if you go to NewYorkTimes.com, you can look for articles. So what was some event that happened recently? Evidently, I don't know if it's New York Times worthy, but it is BuzzFeed worthy. Some random dude groped a 21-year-old and she body slammed it, like she just like took him down. It was amazing. Maybe it's here. I'm just gonna search.
Me Too Body Slam.
What's that?
Me Too Body Slam.
Me Too Body Slam. Yeah.
Does it have video?
It does have video. I will show it. Actually, we'll just show it now. I'm just going to go to BuzzFeed.com because I know that's guaranteed to be there. We'll take a quick break from React and we will celebrate awesome body slams. That's kind of gross.
Georgia. You don't mess with Southern girls.
Florida man.
The worst part about this whole thing is that this person was also with his kid and his wife. What's that?
Oh, let's just see what it looks. It looks like it took the video.
It's possible.
Thumbnail.
Play.
Still there.
It's only 13 seconds, and then we'll get back to React. I don't know if it's my computer that's really slow, or it's just the fact that there's so many things running. Not sure. Okay. And oof. That is all. Okay, so I was not able to actually show what I originally intended, but that was awesome. So we're on let's go back to our home page over here. I want to create a search bar that when I start typing things, like you've all been to those sites where you start typing things and it just kind of narrows and it gets larger and larger, and it seems like it's magic, right? It's not really magic, it's just JavaScript doing it on the front end for you. So we're going to create a search bar. First things first, we're going to create a form down over here. So underneath the form, underneath the H1, I'm just going to do form group and then a closing form group. I'm going to do form control on change. This dot handle search dot find this type equals text, and placeholder I will say the word search. I've brought in two separate libraries over here, form group and form control. And since I'm using them, you'll see I'm going to get some linting errors down over here. It's going to say, hey, you have form group, but you have form group, but you don't have, you didn't bring it in. So these two things are from Bootstrap. So I'm just going to also bring that in up here. So import form group and form control from React Bootstrap. So I'm saying that whenever anything changes on this particular, so let's just see if this shows up. I need a comma. I think something has gone horribly wrong. Let's find out. Cannot read bind of undefined. Let me just let me change this for now. Let me just remove this. I've got a search bar, and I just got it free from React Bootstrap. Whenever there's any sort of change on that search bar, I'm going to execute this .handle search, and I'm going to bind the context of the home page to that. So with that, I need to create a handle search. It's going to take an event, because whenever on change is an event. So whenever anything happens, I have that entire event here. So I'm just going to say let text to search for equal event.target.value. And at this point, I need to reach out to my article API. And I can fetch the articles and pass in a filter. Now the filters are going to look a little bit different. Let's take a look. Sorry, I'm going to create a new function called search articles. Const search articles equals, it's going to take in some sort of text to search for. And then basically execute something like this. It's not going to look exactly like this. I believe it is. It's going to have this where clause inside of it. So filter. Does anybody have this off the top of their head? Or I'm just going to grab it from somebody.
It's posted somewhere. What is this? Articles?
Articles. Yeah, I'll grab it from yours. So search articles takes in some sort of text, and then it's going to make an API call to 3001/API/articles, and the filter is going to be where the title is I-like or case insensitive like to the text that you're going to look for. And since I've added it over here, I'm going to also add it down at the bottom. Search articles is going to be search articles. Inside of section page, inside of home page, I'm going to say let text to search for equal event.target.value. And I'm going to make an API call. So articles API dot search articles with text to search for, and then basically copy all this stuff. Let's see if this works. So I've got my search bar, and I'm just going to type in the word Fallujah, F-A-L-L, and you can kind of see it automatically just kind of shrinks it down. It makes API calls in the background for me, and based off of what I'm typing in, it's going to just have, it's just going to like update the number of things that are coming back. I can even backspace, and it gets larger and larger. But if you take a look over here, like all of my stuff is gone at this point. So this is probably one thing that people were kind of frustrated by. So I'm going to reload this again just to kind of demonstrate the issue one more time. FALL, I go down to one particular thing. They get bigger, and then it disappears. So this is a small bug, but pretty simple to fix. All you have to do is saying if text to search for is not equal to this thing, then we will execute this. So basically saying, making sure that there's text inside of there, then I'm going to search. Otherwise, I'm not going to search. Let's take a look if this works. FALL. And then we have all of them. So just like that. I believe that takes us through everything. There's a bunch of repeated code, or it's not very well organized. But the two things that we added today, one was building out a section page, so I can click on opinion, world, national, and business, and it'll just load up the actual page with those particular articles. And we've also built that search functionality on the main page over here. We might want that on every page. That might be nice. But I'll start taking like retaken, and I can go back and then get more articles all the way back up to nothing. Any questions on anything?